My beloved child, do not turn away or let these words become background noise. The hour has come for you to face what your soul has been quietly longing to hear. A truth so crucial, so urgent that your future, your freedom, and the very light within you depend on what you do next. This is not a gentle suggestion or a distant echo. This is a wake-up call from the one who shaped your heart and has watched you sacrifice, endure, and hope in places that are slowly draining your spirit. The time for delay is over. I am not calling you to keep enduring what I never designed for you, nor to keep sacrificing peace for promises I never gave. Listen closely. Every moment you hesitate is a moment your true destiny slips further from view. But if you stay, if you lean into my voice, I will show you the difference between what is real and what only pretends to be love, between the life you're clinging to and the greater life I have prepared for you. Stay with me till the very end, because in these next moments, the chains you thought were unbreakable can be shattered, and the road you thought was lost can become the path home. Your turning point is now. Don't miss what I have come to reveal to you today. You are walking a path you believe will lead to happiness, peace, and fulfillment. You think that if you just keep enduring, keep sacrificing, keep believing, then somehow everything will be healed. Others will change, and the love you have given will be returned. But my child, there are things you must lay down, not because you are weak, but because I do not want you to be suffocated by that which did not come from me. You have spent too long hoping in the wrong places. You have endured in silence, believing it was noble and right, yet you have not seen how in that very endurance you have lost parts of yourself, drifted far from me, and grown so quiet that my voice is now just a faint whisper to you. I do not fault you for loving, for I am the source of all love. But my heart aches when I see the love you've given become chains tightening around your soul. You are clinging to something that is slowly draining you from the inside. This is not the kind of love I desire for you. It is the distorted version, a love that demands the price of your peace, dims the light in your eyes, and robs your soul of freedom. I see the war within you. I know you are torn between two worlds. One ruled by the voice of reason, and the other by the cries of your heart. You keep telling yourself to hold on just a little longer, that if you can just be a little stronger, things will change. But my beloved, the issue is not that you are not strong enough. It is that you are using your strength in the wrong direction. You are pouring all your energy into preserving something I have whispered to you again and again to let go. I need you to pause, my child. Not to turn your back on love or on responsibility, but so that you can truly see. Are you walking in my will? Did I lead you down this path? Or did you choose it out of fear? Fear of loss, of loneliness, of facing the truth that you are worthy of something better. My precious one, there are things I do not give, not because I do not want you to be happy, but because I know those very things will lead you away from the purpose for which you were created. You are walking too far into a fog, where my light is obscured by the thick mist of unmet expectations, pressures, and promises that were never meant to be fulfilled. I do not want you to live a life waiting for something that will never come. I do not want you to pour your whole heart into hands too fragile to hold it. I do not want you to trade your divine identity for fleeting affection from people who cannot see the treasure within you. My child, I created you with worth far greater than what you are currently settling for. I called you by name. I placed within you a fire, a calling, a purpose far beyond the entanglements you now find yourself in. But if you continue on this path, if you do not stop to hear me now, you will miss the greatness I long to give you. I am standing right here in the very midst of your inner conflict. I have not come to accuse you nor to coerce you. I come with the deepest love, with mercy that never runs dry. I stretch out my hands and I say, my child, come back. Let go of what is holding you captive in spiritual weariness. Let go of the unhealthy attachments that are pulling you away from me. Let go of the expectations you already know did not originate from me. Believe this: when you choose me, you never truly lose. What you receive is always far greater, spree. For I am the one who never takes something from you without giving you something far more precious in return. Do not let fleeting emotions steer the course of your life. Do not let fear blind you to the truth. Truth may sting, but it heals. Illusions, on the other hand, lull you into the sleep of deception. I do not want you to slumber through the storm. I want you awake, strong, and steadfast on the very path I have laid out for you. And so today, I plead with you, do not ignore my voice any longer. I have knocked on the door of your heart with gentleness, with signs, with warnings, with dreams, and even with silence. But now I am knocking more urgently, not because I am angry, but because I love you too deeply to watch you push yourself into a pit. Open your heart to me. Ask me what you need to know. Allow me to speak to the innermost places within you. Let me heal you, rescue you, and bring you out of the place where you do not belong. I know exactly what you're holding on to, that thing you've mistaken for love, but it is slowly wearing away at your soul. That relationship, though it may have begun with sincerity, was never what I ordained for you. It did not come from my kindness, nor was it built upon the foundation of my divine will. And because you continue to cling to it, you are slowly trading away the most precious parts of your spirit, your spiritual vitality, the freshness of your communion with me, and the fire that once blazed so brightly between us. In the stillness of early mornings, I have seen what's happening, not with indifference, but with a heart full of sorrow. I see the change in your heart, a change that did not come overnight, but crept in quietly, like a mist that seeps into the soul. I see the once radiant light in your spirit now flickering faintly. I see the prayers that once poured forth fervently now becoming mechanical, repetitive, lacking life. You still speak, but no longer listen. You still kneel, but your heart has drifted far. And I, the one who once was your first breath each morning, now feel like a distant echo in your loneliest hours. I do not condemn you, my child. I do not accuse you for losing your way, but my heart aches because I know you were not created to be entangled in something that leaves your soul withering. You used to run to me when your heart was heavy. You used to weep in my presence and feel comforted. You used to lift up songs of praise in the quiet hours of prayer. But now those moments are fading because you have poured the fullness of your heart into something that is not from me. This relationship does not nourish your faith. It does not bring you closer to me. On the contrary, it leaves you weary, uncertain, and spiritually drained. It has caused you to trade time with me for preoccupations you cannot control. It has led you to surrender your inner peace for fleeting moments of false closeness. You are beginning to lose yourself, the one who was once strong in the spirit, who once lived alive in the joy of heaven. You have exchanged that sacred connection for something you thought was precious, but which, in truth, is taking you further and further away from me. Have you noticed, my child, that the longing you once had to dwell in my presence has begun to fade? That you no longer anticipate those quiet mornings with me? That my words, which once brought you joy in life, now seem distant and unfamiliar? My dear one, these things did not happen by accident. They are the consequence of allowing a relationship not sent by me to take the place that rightfully belongs to me. And though you may try to justify it with one reason or another, the truth stands unmoved. You are moving backward, not forward. You are sinking, not soaring, and I cannot remain silent while you slowly forfeit your divine destiny. I do not condemn you for loving. Love is a gift from me, the very breath of my being placed within you. But love is meant to draw you into the light, into holiness, into deeper maturity in me. If a love pulls you away from the light, if it causes your faith to waver, if it dulls your hunger for my presence, then it is no longer love but a sweetened chain. A chain the enemy uses to lull your soul into a deceptive sweetness that leads only to dryness and wandering. My beloved, I did not call you to a life of confusion and disorder. I called you out of the shadows, out of compromise, out of the false comfort that suffocates your spirit. I want you to return to me, return to fullness of life, return to the promise that was planted in your heart since the beginning. Nothing, no person, no emotion, no memory is worth trading for my presence. And deep down, you know that, even if you've not yet found the courage to say it aloud. My dearest child, I am not asking you to be perfect overnight. I come not with demands, but with an invitation to come back to the true path. I am not expecting you to let go by your own strength, for I know you are already weary. But I am reaching out my hands, and if you will take hold, I will lead you out of this haze. I will refresh your soul. I will restore the first love you had for me. I will sweep away the dust that has clouded your faith, and I will once again become your endless source of life, just as I was in the beginning. My beloved, step by step, little by little, you have been drifting away from the light, not with storms or shouts, but with a quiet drift that is far more dangerous than any trial you've faced. What grieves me most is not merely that you are moving in the wrong direction, but that you don't even realize how far you've gone. You still believe you're close enough to hear me clearly, but in truth, my voice within you has become faint, like a bell in the distance, no longer ringing with the clarity it once had. You used to be bold in confronting deception. You used to tremble at evil and turn away from what did not please me. But now I see you adapting to the darkness. You have begun to accept what you once refused. You are quieting the voice of your conscience with justifications that sound reasonable but are not grounded in truth. You are persuading yourself that if you simply love enough, wait patiently enough, and sacrifice enough, then perhaps what is wrong will eventually become right. But my child, truth does not bend to fit your feelings. And wrong remains wrong even if it's wrapped in touching reasons and noble desires. I know you don't want to let go. I know it hurts. But what hurts even more is that you are clinging to something I never gave you. And the price you are paying is your very soul. You are trading your deep intimacy with me for a connection that does not bring you closer to me. You are quietly rejecting my voice because you are afraid to face the truth, that what you have chosen is not from my will. You try to silence your conscience by filling your life with busyness, with reasoning, with fragile hopes. You think that if you don't look at the truth, it will disappear. But my child, denying the truth does not make it cease to exist. The truth stands firm, unshaken, and I am the one who gives you that truth, not to condemn you, but to save you. The truth comes not to break you, but to set you free. I have seen every tear you've cried in silence. I know you are weary, but you don't know the way back. I see you wake each day with a heart full of doubt and a mind in turmoil. You still smile, you still speak, you still go through the motions of life, but deep inside something is slowly fading. Something that once gave you strength, once made you alive, once made you feel my presence so clearly. You once were an intercessor. You once feared no darkness because you knew my light was with you. But now you live as if that light has withdrawn. No, you have not completely lost me, but you are trading away pieces of me within you to hold on to something you know does not belong in your divine destiny. You are exchanging eternal life for what is fleeting, and true peace for temporary pleasure. My beloved, not everything you want to hold on to is meant to be kept. Not every relationship, not every promise, not every emotion comes from me. Some things are temporary, meant only to test your loyalty. Some people were permitted to enter your life, but never meant to remain. And some situations came to teach you something, and then they must go. But you, because of your great compassion, have tried to keep it all, even when I have gently invited you to release it. Letting go is not failure. Letting go is an act of courage when you recognize that what you are holding on to no longer nourishes your soul. Letting go is the first step to open your heart to something new, something right, something from me. I know you are afraid of being alone, afraid of losing, afraid of the emptiness. But don't you see? It is in the moments you fear most that I draw the closest. It is in your deepest weakness that my power is made perfect. I do not expect you to be fearless and strong. I only ask that you be honest enough to admit you are lost. I need you to be humble enough to say, Lord, I cannot go on alone anymore. And when you say that, I will come in, not to rebuke but to embrace you, not to question you but to heal, not to demand payment but to restore all that you have lost. My child, I know the journey back is not easy, but every step you take toward me, every prayer you whisper, every tear you offer, I see it all and I treasure it all. I am waiting with arms that never close, with a heart that never changes, no matter how far you've gone. All it takes is one step back, and I will wrap you in my unconditional love. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Jeremiah 29:13. So today, I am not just calling you back to me. I am inviting you to step out of the darkness you've been living in, out of the mask you've been wearing, out of the wounds you've been hiding. I am inviting you to return to who you truly are, the one I created with love, with purpose, with my glory. You were not made to live in the in-between, caught between life and the shadow of death. You were made to live fully in the light. You were created for something far greater, not for a blind, deceptive, or binding love, but for a pure love, one that includes worship, overflows with joy, and carries the power to shift destinies. You were designed to experience a love that mirrors mine, a love that nourishes your soul, strengthens your faith, draws you closer to me, and aligns you more deeply with your divine purpose. You once knew well the difference between a love that came from me and a harmful attachment. But now I see you justifying what you once fled from. I see you turning a blind eye to the signs I've sent your way. I see you trying to convince yourself that what you are chasing is something I orchestrated, even as your soul knows it leads to a dead end. You have allowed the fear of loss to drown out the wisdom my spirit once whispered to your heart. My child, true love does not cause you to lose yourself. True love does not make you forget my voice. It does not force you to choose between me and another person. It does not keep you silent in pain for fear that speaking up will cost you something you think you cannot afford to lose. You were not created to endure heartbreak and call it love. I never intended for you to live in such a bitter compromise. If someone requires you to lower your faith, to abandon your sacred convictions just to maintain that relationship, then that is not someone I sent. If you must hide me in order to keep them, if you have to step back from your calling just to match their pace, then you are heading in the wrong direction. And you know this. I know you have cried in secret at night. I know you have wondered, is this truly what God chose for me? You've searched for the answer in the silence of your soul, and now I speak clearly. No, my beloved, what I have destined for you looks nothing like what you're clinging to. The love I have for you never comes wrapped in confusion. It is a refuge, a flame that illuminates, a stream that restores your spirit. True love does not create chaos. It does not leave you disoriented. It does not make you fall asleep with a broken heart and a soul torn between reason and emotion. True love is where you can grow in me, where you can run to me without fear of rebuke or misunderstanding. I will never give you someone who pulls you away from the embrace of my love. Remember the times you promised to walk with me unconditionally. Remember the tears you shed in my presence when you pleaded for a love that would be whole. A love that wouldn't cost you yourself, but would instead help you become whole in me. You used to believe that I had something better for you, but then you grew tired of waiting. You feared being alone. You told yourself, maybe this is good enough. But do you realize that you are trading greatness for something fleeting? You are letting loneliness lead you instead of letting the Holy Spirit guide you. You are choosing a temporary comfort over an eternal investment. My precious one, let me remind you of this. You are worthy of a holy love, not because you are perfect, but because you belong to me. Let me heal the wounds you've tried to hide. Let me break the ties that keep you bound to what was never meant to be yours. Believe that I am strong enough to give you a new beginning, even if you feel like you've gone too far or sunk too deep. I will never punish you for loving someone, but I will not remain silent if that love pulls you away from me. I am a God of mercy, but I am also the one who calls for a decisive heart, and today I am calling you back to your first love, back to me. Let go of what is not from me. Step out of the comfort zone that has confined you and walk into the destiny I truly designed for you. It may hurt, you may feel empty for a while, but you will see I am waiting on the other side of your obedience. My beloved child, I have seen every silent trembling of your heart, those sleepless nights when your eyes were shut but your mind screamed with confusion. You were afraid that if you let go of what you're holding on to, all you will be left with are empty hands. You fear that if you surrender, nothing good will come your way again. You are terrified by the thought of being lost, alone, and forgotten in an endless silence. I have watched how you cling to something that no longer breathes life into your soul, only because you fear it might be your last chance at love. But my child, I am the one who sees into the depths of your heart, and I say to you today, not one of the fears you are battling comes from me. I did not give you a spirit of fear. I do not desire for you to live trapped between regret for the past and anxiety about the future. I want you to live fully in the present, anchored in the unwavering truth that I am with you, guiding you through every step, every difficult turn along the way. Fear creeps in when you stop believing that I am good. It takes root when you believe that what you're holding on to is the only good thing you will ever have. But beloved, what you are clutching is only a small, fleeting fragment compared to the abundance I have prepared for you. If you could gather the courage to release what is weighing you down, you would find my arms already outstretched, not to punish, but to lift you up. You are never alone when you let go for the sake of obedience. In the moment you choose me over your own feelings, you step into a new dimension of freedom and light. And in that very moment, the miraculous begins to unfold. Not because you earned it, but because you dared to believe. You were not created to live tormented by the questions of what if or if only. You were made to live in the fullness of because I know whom I have believed. I lead you not through regret, but through hope, not through pressure, but through peace, not through threats, but through the promises I never break. I have heard your inner voice whisper, if I lose them, I'll have no one left. But do you not remember? It is I who have never left your side. The people you are trying so hard to hold on to today could walk away tomorrow, but I will not. The love you are chasing may crumble under the weight of human change, but the love I have for you will never fade. I am the unchanging one, and because my love never changes, I will not stand by and allow you to remain bound in a connection that stunts your growth in me. You may believe now that what you're releasing is the only thing keeping you from feeling empty, but I see clearly. It is that very thing which is hindering you from reaching the glory I have already set aside for you. Do not let the fear of loneliness lead you into the arms of bondage. Do not let the fear of being left behind cause you to reject the future I am bringing to meet you. I am Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who provides for you every good thing you need, including love that is right in timing, in nature, and in the person meant for you. I want you to trust me so deeply that you are willing to let go, not because you know exactly what lies ahead, but because you are certain I am already there. I want you to walk not by sight, but by faith. You do not need to see the whole plan to believe it is good. You only need to know that I am the one holding that plan. Look at the lives of those who came before you. Abraham left his homeland without knowing where he was going, simply because he believed, I am faithful. Moses gave up the palace of Egypt to dwell with my people in the wilderness, because he knew that what I promise is always greater than what the world can offer. Ruth let go of both her past and her future to follow me, and in the end I restored everything she had ever lost. And you too, if you dare to take the first step into the land of obedience, you will see that what I have promised is not an illusion. You will see me making a way in the wilderness, opening springs in the desolate places. You will begin to feel that the light at the end of this journey is not a mirage, but true life waiting for you. You will come to understand that your waiting is not in vain. Your tears have not fallen in silence, and the resolve in your heart today is the beginning of a new season. Let me be the one who comforts you in your loneliest moments, the one who wipes away your tears in the night, the one who holds you close when no one else can understand what you're going through. I do not promise that the journey of letting go will be easy, but I promise that if you let me hold your hand, you will not stumble, because my love for you is never late. My love never breaks a promise, and what I have prepared for you will not be delayed if you are willing to trust me. Let me place in your hands something more precious than gold, more refined than fire, sweeter than anything you have ever imagined. But first, you must release what did not come from me, for no one can receive the new if their hands are still full of the old and broken. Let my words today be a turning point in your heart. Let them be the promise you cling to when fear screams in your mind. Let them be the light guiding your steps in the darkness, reminding you that I never ask you to surrender anything without already preparing something far better in its place. My beloved child, you are still holding on to what I have gently asked you to lay down. I have whispered it to your spirit many times, but you have turned away. I have placed signs along your path, tender reminders, dreams that left you restless, and moments of unexplainable unease. Yet you kept going, still believing you could turn the tide by your own strength, through the love you give, through the silent prayers you lift up each night. I have seen the sincerity in your heart. I have felt the tears that fall on your pillow during the long, lonely nights. But my dear one, I have also seen the weariness growing in your soul each day. The pain you are enduring was never part of my will for you. You were not created to carry the weight of a soul that is breaking, hoping your love could mend what they have refused to heal. You are not meant to be the only light in someone else's darkness. You are not the one assigned to change their heart in my place. There are battles you are called to fight, but there are also burdens you are called to release into my hands. And this, my child, is one of them. I see what you cannot see. You only see the present, moments of beauty mixed with pain. But I see the road ahead, where unhealed wounds could become scars that never fade, where soul weariness may slowly extinguish the flame I once kindled within you. I see the stagnation creeping in, surrounding your spirit, slowing your steps on the journey of pursuing my divine will. My heart aches as I watch you trade the life within you for something that drains you more with each passing day. You have told me that you trust me, but faith is not merely believing that I can work miracles in your situation. It is trusting that I know what is best, even when I say, that's enough. True faith is the courage to walk away from something unhealthy, even when you cannot yet see what good might lie ahead. Faith means believing that obedience brings blessing, even when your emotions are saying the opposite. I do not fault you for loving. I do not condemn you for trying, for the kindness within you is a reflection of me. But you have gone too far in your sacrifice, to the point of losing yourself. You've taken on a burden that was never yours to carry. You've stepped into the role of Savior when I alone am the Redeemer. And the most heartbreaking part is that you are in pain, yet you've convinced yourself that this is what I want you to endure. I want you to live in peace, not under pressure. I want you to experience true love, not a love shadowed by control, torment, and sorrow. I have called you into my rest, yet you have chosen to remain in the struggle, hoping that if you just love enough, pray enough, endure enough, things will change. But my child, love is not a one-sided battle. Prayer is not a weapon to manipulate someone into becoming what you desire. And kindness is not a license for others to take advantage of you. It is time to stop, not because you've failed, but because you've done more than enough. Not because you don't love enough, but because it's time to learn how to love yourself the way I have always loved you. It's time to understand that true mercy is not bearing the pain others inflict, but believing that I have the power to transform all things, even the things you cannot repair. Remember, you are not alone. I have never left you, not for a moment. In every breath, in every step you've taken, I have been right there. When you thought no one could understand your heart, I was listening. When you wondered if anyone cared about the pain hidden behind your smile, I was holding you. I see beyond what is visible. I see the weary soul, the heart that's barely standing. And because I love you too deeply, I cannot allow you to keep walking a path that leads to spiritual dryness. I cannot stand by and watch you lose the light in your eyes, the tenderness in your spirit, the freshness of my presence, simply because you are carrying a mission that was never meant to be yours. Let me do what only I can do. Give that person to me. Let me handle what you cannot. You are not the one who can change hearts. That is my role. And I do that not with force or haste, but with patient, loving grace. What I ask of you is to return, to rest in my arms so I may heal the places where you've been torn and mend the pieces you haven't dared to face. I never ask you to let go of something without purpose. Everything I call you to surrender is for your protection and restoration. Every word I speak is not to take something from you, but to give you something better. Something lasting, something worthy. I never require you to endure hurt as a form of atonement for someone else's actions. The only sacrifice I ask for is obedience. For it is in obedience that true freedom begins to bloom. You will never lose anything truly valuable when you choose to obey me. The only thing you'll be letting go of are the invisible chains that have been binding your soul. And when they finally fall away, you will feel a lightness you haven't known in a long time. You will breathe more deeply. You will sleep more peacefully. You will pray without feeling like you're screaming into a void of despair. My beloved child, what I am preparing for you has never been built upon a foundation of torment. What I have designed for your life is wholeness, support, and harmony in the spirit, a love that nurtures your growth, not one that drains you to the point of withering. A relationship that draws you closer to me, not one that pushes you further away. A companionship rooted in holiness, not a never-ending battle between faith and wounds. There are invisible cords entangling your steps, ones you don't even realize are there. They are not made of iron or steel, but of memories, of once sweet moments, of fragile hopes that the old could somehow come alive again. You look back and see glimpses of the past as if they alone define the relationship you're holding on to. You remember the way they once looked at you, the promises they once spoke, the early days when you felt seen and valued. And now those very memories have become your burden. They pull your heart back towards something that no longer belongs to you. Do not let a relationship that once held meaning become the very thing that keeps you from stepping into the destiny I have appointed for you. Do not let affection, no matter how deep, keep you rooted in a place where your soul is no longer nourished, where my voice has grown faint, where my presence is no longer the center. You were not created to remain where the light has dimmed, simply because you're afraid of the darkness that comes with walking alone. For when you take that brave step forward, you will discover that I have already gone before you, waiting with a light that never fades. Love does not always mean holding on. Sometimes the deepest love is expressed through letting go, Not letting go because you no longer care, but letting go out of obedience. Releasing someone doesn't mean your heart has turned cold. It means you trust that I care for them more than you ever could. It doesn't mean you failed. It means you have chosen to place them into the hands of the only one who can truly transform their life. There are journeys you were never meant to finish alongside someone else. There are lives you were only meant to touch for a moment and then step back so they can learn their own lessons. There are doors which, if you keep standing in front of them, will prevent you from walking through the one I have already opened ahead. And my child, I do not want you to miss your appointed train because you are too afraid to travel alone. If you continue to cling despite my gentle warnings, you will slowly come to understand why I've tried to wake you, not because I wanted to hurt you, but because I long to save you from a far greater pain that awaits if you choose not to leave. If you remain in a place that is no longer alive, you will find yourself slowly losing who you are. Those sacred values you once cherished, the principles you once stood firm upon, even the divine voice within your spirit. Day by day, you will feel a bit more of your inner light fading until the person looking back at you in the mirror becomes unrecognizable. You cannot truly live out the potential I placed within you if you keep trying to adapt to a place that does not nourish your soul. You cannot hear my voice clearly when you immerse yourself in the chaotic sounds of doubt and inner conflict. And you cannot reach the greatness I have destined for you if you're unwilling to let go of what you think is good in order to receive what I know is best. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. And that future, my child, begins the moment you are willing to say, Lord, I trust you enough to walk forward, even while my heart still aches. Because it is in that trembling step that you will feel my hand gripping yours firmly. It is in that act of surrender that you will hear my voice clearer than ever before. And it is in that very moment when you leave the place that no longer belongs to you, that you will enter the place I call home. My heart grows heavy each time I look down and see my children, souls that once leaned into my voice, once longed to walk in holiness, now becoming accustomed to ignoring the words I speak with deep affection. They hear my voice, but only faintly, like wind brushing past branches, never reaching the core of their hearts. They feel the stirrings, the gentle convictions within, but hesitate to respond. They allow habits, busyness, and invisible fears to keep them stuck at the crossroads between obedience and delay. And I, the one who loves them with an unchanging love, can only stand and watch. The aching father who knows that his child is walking toward a rough road, but is not allowed to force them to turn back. Beloved, obedience is not something to be negotiated. It is not a task to be postponed until a better mood, a clearer schedule, or a more convenient time. Obedience is the immediate response of genuine love. It is the trust that when I speak, I am not trying to control you, but to rescue you from what you have not yet seen. I have whispered many times to your heart, gently reminding you of what must be surrendered, what must be crossed, and what must be changed. But instead of responding with surrender, many among you have chosen delay. They assume they have more time. They soothe themselves with thoughts like, it's not that serious, or God is merciful, he'll forgive me. And in doing so, they quietly push obedience off to a vague, undefined later. But child, that delay is the very doorway through which spiritual weariness slips in. Every moment you hesitate to follow my voice is a step away from my protection. Every time you put off obedience for your own reasoning, you bring your soul closer to the danger I wanted you to avoid. The enemy of your soul does not sleep. He prowls in the shadows, looking for the smallest cracks of delay through which he can sow doubt, hardness of heart, and ultimately separation from me. I do not speak just to hear myself talk. Every word I release carries life. Every warning I send contains within it a way out, a door of hope, a different path that leads to deliverance. But if you keep putting it off, if you keep telling yourself not yet, then there will come a time when you begin to lose the spiritual sensitivity you once had. That's when you no longer feel the conviction you used to feel. That's when your heart becomes dull, your vision clouded, and your ears deaf to the whisper of my spirit. I know there are times when you do not perceive the urgency in my words, for what I speak does not always come with thunder or immediate disaster. But my silence is not a sign of approval. The delay of judgment is not a permission slip. I am patient, not because I agree, but because I wait. I wait with hope that you will awaken, that you will return before it is too late. My beloved, obedience is never a burden. It is a shelter, a sanctuary for your soul. I do not call you to obey in order to confine you, but to lead you into the place of blessing I have already prepared. Yet that place cannot be reached if you continue to cling to what I've already asked you to release. You cannot step into the promised land while still carrying the shadows of Egypt in your heart. Do not underestimate the value of a single moment. One timely decision can redeem an entire life, and one moment of hesitation can open the door to consequences you never foresaw. The enemy does not tremble at those who read my words, but he fears those who live them. For every act of obedience is a step into victory, and every delay is a crack through which spiritual attacks may enter. Remember this: every step of obedience, no matter how small, shifts the course of destiny. No obedience is wasted. Every time you say yes to me, even when you don't fully understand, you declare that faith is still alive within you, and it is that very faith that becomes the bridge between you and my grace. Do not wait for feelings to move before you act. Do not wait until everything is clear before you dare to walk forward. For faith does not grow in places of comfort. Faith is forged in the fire of trust, in the willingness to step out into the unknown and believe what I say, even when everything around you says otherwise. If you truly know me as the faithful one, then you will understand that every word I speak has purpose, carries weight, and leads to goodness. If you believe I am your loving Father, then you will know that no warning from me is ever unnecessary. And if you trust that I love you, you will not be able to ignore my voice without your heart aching. My child, this is the moment to choose what is right. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. I am calling you back to spiritual sensitivity, to a tender heart, to a readiness to obey without conditions. Do not let another second pass in hesitation. Do not allow what was lost through delay to become a lifelong regret. I love you with an unfailing love, but that love cannot save you unless it is met with obedience. My love does not force, it waits. And today, once again, I wait for you. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15, come back, my beloved. Walk forward now. Do not let another precious moment be wasted, for it is in your obedience that the miracle begins, and it is in your yes today that your future is reset, securely placed in my hands, the hands of the one who is still waiting, with unwavering love, relentless patience, and everlasting mercy. I know that sometimes thoughts quietly rise in your heart, whispers that suggest you are still safe because nothing serious has happened yet, that because judgment has not struck instantly, you may delay repentance, postpone obedience, or live according to your own ways without consequences. But my child, that thought is a deadly snare, a carefully crafted deception spun by the enemy of your soul from the very beginning. It is one of his most subtle lies, meant to dull your spiritual wisdom and make you think you are standing firm when you are already near the edge of the abyss. History is not without its painful examples of those who once believed they still had time. They heard the warnings, they felt the stirring in their spirit, but they reassured themselves, saying, "There's no need to change yet. Let's leave that for tomorrow." They assumed that because disaster had not yet struck, it never would. They mistook heaven's silence for approval, or at least for indifference. But my child, the delay in judgment does not equal acceptance. My patience must never be misunderstood as apathy. Remember the days of Noah when he built the great ark upon dry land. People mocked him. They carried on with their lives, marrying, eating, drinking, building, working, as though all would remain secure forever. They heard his words but did not believe them. They saw his actions as absurd, distant, even laughable, until the day the door of the ark closed and the first drops of rain fell from the darkened sky. Only then did they realize the truth they had scorned was real. But by then, it was too late. Or consider Sodom and Gomorrah. These cities once thrived, brimming with prosperity and pleasures. The people thought every warning was an empty cry, that their way of life was immovable. But then fire rained down from heaven, without announcement, without delay, and everything they once took pride in was consumed in an instant. So it is with you, my beloved. If you think that because nothing has yet collapsed around you, you can safely continue down a path of disobedience, you are gradually slipping into delusion. The enemy is cunning. He does not always attack through storms and upheaval. Sometimes all he needs is for you to feel safe while standing one step away from danger. He wants you to believe that my silence means permission. But that silence is not consent. It is mercy. It is a window of grace for you to return, and that window is not eternal. My child, I love you too much to stay silent as you drift into danger you cannot yet see. The truth is, the most perilous moment is not the sudden judgment, but when your heart becomes so hardened that it no longer feels conviction, when you have lived in compromise for so long that you no longer see anything wrong with it, when you've crossed the line so many times that regret no longer stirs within you. That is the most terrifying sign of all. For not every collapse begins with something external. Sometimes it begins with a silent falling within, when the soul loses its sensitivity to the voice of the Holy Spirit. Be watchful. False peace is a spiritual sedative. It tricks you into believing that repentance can wait, that you can play with my mercy as though it were a game. But that mercy is not a blanket to hide your sin. It is a doorway through which you are invited to return, to be healed, restored, and renewed. And that invitation must not be taken lightly. I do not say these things to frighten you. I do not sow terror. I awaken you because I love you. I warn you because I see what you cannot. I call you back, not to shame you, but to protect you from losses I never intended for your life to endure. You may think that today you are fine, that all is under control, but you do not know what tomorrow holds. I see the road ahead with clarity that no human eye can match. I see the sharp turns, the hidden traps, the cliffs masked by illusion. And for that reason, when I call you back, do not delay. When I whisper into your heart, do not push it away. When uneasiness stirs within your soul, listen closely. Do not ignore the signs I am placing along your path. They are not there to threaten you. They are lights in the darkness, fences of protection meant to keep you from wandering into places I never intended for you to go. You might think that the words I speak today are not meant for you, that you do not need to change just yet, that there will be a more convenient time for repentance, for correction, for obedience. But how do you know if tomorrow will come? How can you be sure that there will still be time? I speak to you today because today is still a day of grace, and while grace remains, do not close the ears of your heart. My beloved child, come closer. Do not hesitate. Do not let the conflicting voices of the world drown out the gentle prompting echoing within your soul. It is I who am calling you, not with a loud cry, but with a voice deep enough to stir your very spirit. I do not call you to walk in confusion or to stumble through the darkness of doubt. I am not leading you into a journey shrouded in fog where you must grope your way forward by your own strength. No, my child, I am calling you so that I may become the light before your path, the companion who never departs from your side, the guide who never loses his way. You do not need to fear your lack of wisdom, strength, or understanding in discerning truth from falsehood, where I and I alone will teach you. I will not speak to you only through the words of Scripture, but also through the quiet whispers in your spirit, through sacred dreams, through holy silence, and through signs that only you will recognize when your heart becomes attuned to me. My Holy Spirit does not come merely to comfort, but also to guide, to teach you how to see with spiritual eyes, to help you walk not according to the flesh, but according to the true life that flows from above. You will not be lost amid the multitude of choices, for my Spirit will make the way clear. I will not let you make a wrong decision when your heart truly longs to please me. I will open your ears to hear my voice even among the overwhelming noise of this world. I will make your soul so sensitive that even a soft breath from my Spirit will reveal the direction I desire you to walk in. When you seek me, not out of religious duty, but with a sincere hunger to encounter me face to face, you will find me. There is no wall between me and the one who comes in truth. There is no distance that my love cannot cross to embrace you. And when you encounter me, you will not only receive answers to the questions that have long stirred in your heart, but you will also receive a wisdom that transcends all human knowledge. I will give you a new vision, one not limited by experience, circumstance, or emotion, but a vision that comes from heaven, where truth is never distorted and where light never fades. You will see clearly the straight path, not because it is paved with roses, but because it is illuminated by my presence. The winding roads that once caused hesitation will become clear when I open the eyes of your spirit. You will no longer be led by feelings or trends, but you will walk with the deep discernment that comes from me. Each decision you make will no longer be an uncertain guess, but a firm step supported by the foundation of my word. I will sharpen your spiritual senses so that you will not be easily deceived by things that sound right but are wrong at their core. You will not be captivated by counterfeit wisdom, nor seduced by the sweet words of the world, nor fooled by shiny facades that conceal death within. Instead, I will grant you the gift of discernment, to recognize what truly comes from me, what brings life, what brings peace, and what builds up your soul in truth. You will no longer be swept away by the tides of the majority, for I will plant your roots deep in truth. And when the strong winds rise, when trials come crashing in, you will not be shaken. You will stand firm, not because of your own strength, but because you are anchored on an unshakable foundation. On me, the Eternal One, I will grant you understanding that surpasses book knowledge, transcends human reasoning, and goes beyond the limits of intellectual insight. I will teach you how to see people through eyes of love without being blinded, how to hear words and discern the true intent behind them. I will unveil to you hidden things, truths buried deep within the souls of others, not so you can judge, but so you may intercede with compassion and walk in mercy without naivety. And I will train you to discern what is truly sacred from what only appears holy on the surface. There are things that carry the appearance of goodness but do not bear my breath. There are teachings that sound like truth but lack the life of the Spirit. There are relationships that seem like blessings but are, in truth, holding you back. You will no longer be entangled in such things, for I will be the one who enlightens your inner being. I will grant you revelation, not like lightning that flashes and vanishes, but like the sun that shines steadily and without ceasing. You will walk in a peace that does not come from knowing outcomes in advance, but from the assurance that your hand is in mine. This peace will not rely on having enough evidence, but will rest on unwavering trust in the one who never lies, never errs, and always fulfills his promises. As you live in close intimacy with me, you will learn that I do not always speak in thunderous tones. Sometimes my guidance comes as a gentle prompting, an unexplained unease, or a profound stillness deep within. But because you know me, you will recognize that it is I who speak. And when you obey, even without full understanding, You will see doors open before you, my hand at work on your behalf, and wisdom beyond your comprehension, bringing forth fruit that no one can explain by natural means. My beloved child, do not be afraid of what you are facing. Do not tremble before mountains that seem insurmountable, for I am the one who has placed within you a strength you could not generate on your own, a stream of life that never runs dry, a power from on high that enables you to stand firm in the storm and keep walking even through barren wilderness. I have not merely equipped you to survive, I have empowered you to overcome. Every time you feel like you are on the verge of collapse, I am quietly strengthening you. Every moment you think you can't go on, I am pouring fresh vitality into your spirit, not drawn from your own determination, but from my unwavering faithfulness. Never believe you are struggling alone through your trials. I am the one upholding your shoulders, lifting your soul, and renewing your mind every morning with the breath of my presence. I give you discernment, not so you can merely get by, but so that you may choose the right path amidst countless diversions. In a world filled with noise and deception, I am the gentle whisper in your soul, the refreshing breeze across your weary thoughts, the divine wisdom that keeps you from being swept away by fleeting emotions. The decisions you make in your pursuit of me and in your listening to my voice will never be ones you regret. You were not born to run from challenges. You were born to overcome them with me as your strength. Every obstacle you face is not a dead end, but a hidden doorway to opportunity. Look back at the times you thought you would fall apart, yet somehow you stood again. That was not because you were stronger than your circumstances, but because I was there every step, every breath, every moment right beside you. Each trial is an invitation for you to draw nearer to the purpose I have prepared for you. It is the place where I refine your nature, where I prune away what no longer fits, where I awaken deeper parts within you that peace alone could never reach. In the fire of affliction, gold is purified. Under pressure, stone is transformed into a precious gem. And in adversity, your very being is elevated into something far more valuable than you ever imagined. You are more lovable than you ever imagined. Let yourself rise, hill by hill and across every steep incline. Let your soul learn to soar from even the darkest valleys that seem bottomless. Every time you choose not to give up, you write a new page in the story of strength. And when you finally arrive at the place I have destined for you, you will not look back with fear, but with deep gratitude. You will see that no challenge was in vain. Every scar, every tear, every silent night carried with it something eternal for your soul. My beloved, do not be surprised that the fiercest battles precede the brightest glory. The highest peaks demand the greatest perseverance. But it is also on those heights that you will see the full landscape, the life, the grace, the majesty I have already laid out for you. No one reaches that summit without calloused hands, a heart soaked in tears, and faith forged like steel. Yet no one stands there without a fire in their chest, knowing it was I who climbed each step with them. Trials do not come to destroy you, they come to awaken you. They come to reveal things you never knew you carried: endurance, courage, wisdom, and a steadfast faith in what is unseen. In every battle I am teaching you how to see life, not with your natural eyes, but with the eyes of the Spirit. I am teaching you that the greatest good is not always born in comfort, but often in the midst of hardship. When you look back on what you've overcome, let your heart be filled with awe, not because you were skillful enough to win, but because you were obedient enough to stand still in the spiritual battle, allowing me to fight for you. You didn't turn away when things grew hard. You didn't give up when your heart was wounded. You didn't refuse to move forward just because you couldn't see the whole path ahead. And that is what brings me joy. Not that you never stumbled, but that you never stayed down. Not that you never doubted, but that you chose to believe anyway. Not that you were always strong, but that each time you felt weak, you ran to me. So, my child, do not fear the days of trial, for I am your unshakable refuge. Do not fear the opposing winds, for the wings I've given you will be strong enough to carry you through. Do not fear the moments when your mind feels clouded, because my light will always illuminate the path before you. I never promised you an easy journey, but I did promise I would never leave your side. I never said you would always understand why, but I did promise a peace that surpasses understanding. I never said you would not cry, but I promised I would wipe every tear from your face. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. Do you see it now? In me you are not merely given strength to endure. You are empowered to soar. You are not just surviving the storms, you are rising above them. You are being lifted, transformed, and carried into a new dimension of faith that fall. I remain with you, a promise eternal. When sorrow tries to creep into your thoughts, close your eyes and feel my warmth surrounding your soul. Do not let yourself sink into the pit of isolation, because the truth is, you are never alone. You have me, the one who never strays, never forsakes, always listens, and always waits. Do not let your heart wither from the absence of love when the fountain of my love is forever flowing toward you, day after day, hour by hour. Your tears have never gone unnoticed, never been in vain. I have counted every drop. Every time you collapsed, every time you felt too weary to go on, I knew. And in those moments where you saw no way out, I was there, holding your hand even if you didn't realize it, lifting your spirit so you would not be crushed entirely. I never promised that you would never feel pain, but I have guaranteed that no pain you endure will be faced alone. When old memories come flooding back, when your heart still clings to what no longer exists, I invite you to let go. The past cannot return, and the things tied to it, leave them to me. Do not allow your mind to become a field where the dead things of yesterday take root. Let me sow something new there. Seeds of hope, of life, of healing. There are memories that are beautiful, but they belong to what has passed. There are people who once walked beside you, but they are no longer meant for the road ahead. I know this aches. I see you trying to hold on to broken fragments as if they are all you have left. But my beloved, my hand is open, ready to give you something new. How can you receive it if your fists are still clenching the past? Open your hands. Release what no longer serves you. Let me be the one who makes all things new in your life. And my beloved child, the greatest danger is not loss or pain, but the moment you begin to believe the lies, that you are not enough, that you are beyond hope, that I have turned my face away. These thoughts are not from me. They are arrows of darkness wrapped in the guise of logic, crafted to deceive your mind. But I have equipped you with spiritual weapons to resist them. You have my word. You have the truth. Use it as a sword to cut through every invisible chain tightening around your heart from within. I did not create you to be crushed beneath the weight of the world's voices. I created you to rise, to lift your head high as one who belongs to the light. Your true identity does not lie in what others say about you, but in what I declared over you before the foundations of the world. You are my beloved, my chosen one, a vessel of my presence. No one and nothing can blur that truth unless you allow it. So, my child, do not let your soul be destroyed by words that carry no life. Do not let negative thoughts erode your inner resolve. Keep your heart pure from envy, bitterness, and the shame of inadequacy. Let me soften your heart daily, that it may not harden from old wounds. And when you feel weak, do not be afraid. It is in your weakness that my power will be made perfect. Acknowledge my name, not just with your lips, but with your very life. When you choose to trust me in the darkest of circumstances, that is when you glorify me the most. Embrace me with your whole soul, not with emotions that flicker, but with a faith that stands firm. For I am the one who never changes, and what I have promised I will surely fulfill. You do not need to travel to some distant place to find me. I am here, right now, in your breath, in the beating of your heart. The moment you turn back, I draw near. The moment you call, I will answer. The moment you open your heart, I will enter. And where I dwell, nothing else can rule over you but life. Do not allow your heart to be filled with small things. Let it become a dwelling place for peace, for light, for my love. Let me heal every fracture in your soul, every piece that seems too shattered to repair. I never see you as broken beyond repair. I see brilliance waiting to emerge. I see a victor rising from the ashes. I see a flame igniting again. Even a single spark is enough for me to kindle into a light that will never go out. My precious one, in this world of noise and constant turmoil, I invite you to hold tightly to the torch that burns within you, the flame of hope. Do not let gloomy days or unmet expectations extinguish it. Hope is not just a fragile dream of the future. It is the breath of the soul, the ember that glows in the night, the unwavering belief that something good is still on its way. Keep that flame burning within your heart, for I am the one who lit it in the beginning. Carry that hope everywhere your feet take you. Let it become the living message you bring to those whose spirits are weary. Today, someone beside you may need to hear a word of encouragement. They may be standing at the edge of despair, searching for a reason to continue. Be the one who delivers my whisper to them, that there is still a path, still a light, and still a Savior who will never give up on them. Speak it through your life, through the resilience I've placed in you, through the eyes of compassion I've formed within you. Do not run away from challenges, my beloved child. Do not be afraid when you face those who try to hinder your path, for in my plan, nothing is wasted. It is through these very obstacles, the people who have wounded you, the situations that seemed orchestrated to make you fall, that I will lift you higher. They will become the very platforms that raise you up. They will be the steps that help you stand taller, walk firmer, and grow stronger. You are not defined by what others have done to you, but by what I am doing within you. For you have heard my voice, not just with your ears, but with your soul. You have felt the stirring of my spirit deep within. You have lived through nights so dark that the only thing keeping you from collapsing was my presence. And in those moments, you came to know that I am not some distant idea or ancient tale, but the living one who stepped into your life with both tenderness and unshakable authority. I called your name in the crowd, and you responded. And so now I long to pour out my grace on you like the early rains that refresh a dry and weary land. I withhold no good thing from you. On the contrary, I am seeking every opportunity to fill you with new life, to bring healing, to lead you into turns you never imagined. But you must open your heart wide. Let me take the lead. Surrender every worry, every plan, every dream, even the things you don't yet understand. Place them all into my hands. Surrender is not weakness. It is the most powerful act you can make. When you yield to me, you are declaring, Lord, your will is greater than mine. I trust you more than I trust myself. And in that sacred moment, miracles begin to unfold. I will do for you what you cannot do. I will fight in the places where you are too weary to stand. I will make a way where you saw no path. But I need your trust. Not a fleeting trust, but a deep and steadfast faith that rises from a heart that has been broken and is now learning to believe again. Seek me each day. Don't let the noise of life drown out the voice of the one who gave you life. Don't let other voices silence my gentle whisper. I am never distant. I am waiting for you. In the early mornings, in the still moments, in the quiet rhythm of your breath, come to me, not with perfection, but with a true and honest heart. Set apart sacred moments, even just a few minutes, to listen to me, to step into the deep communion I've always longed to have with you. My child, I call you to rise, not as one burdened by the past, but as one set free. Rise up as someone who knows who you belong to, who understands that life is not a series of random events, but a meaningful story written by the very hand of the Creator. And as you rise, Don't stand for yourself alone. Shine. Let my light within you illuminate the way for others. Be a refuge for weary souls, so they may find in you a peace the world cannot give. You know well that my help does not change with the seasons or depend on your moods. My help is not based on what you achieve, but on what I have promised. I am the faithful one, and my faithfulness knows no end. When people walk away, I remain. When all hope seems lost, I am the one who calls life forth from barren places. My hand never grows tired of lifting you, and my arms are strong enough to carry all the pain you hold inside. So do not let doubt steal the experience of the love I pour out on you daily. Doubt is not the end of your story, but do not let it become the home where your soul dwells. Acknowledge it and then release it, because if you cling to doubt, you will miss the very things I am doing right before your eyes. My love is not a theory. It is action. It is reality. It is the way my eyes never leave you. It is the whisper I send through strangers. It is the tears I cry with you in the silence. You do not need to understand everything in order to believe me. You only need to know this one thing. I am real, and I love you with a love that cannot be measured. Even before you were born, I saw you. I called you by name, and I chose you, not because you were perfect, but because you are. Walk forward in the strength of hope. Live each day as a declaration that says, I belong to the one who will never abandon me. And as you do this, you will witness miracles, not always loud or dramatic, but undeniable. Day by day, I will transform you. Step by step, I will lead you into what is truly good. And when you look back, you will see the place you thought was the end was where I began, something beautiful. My beloved child, as you let these words settle in your spirit, remember, my invitation is never limited to this moment. I am calling you not just to a single encounter, but to a journey of daily restoration, deeper trust, and ongoing breakthrough. When your heart is heavy, when confusion clouds your path, when you long to hear my voice more clearly, come back here. Let this be your sanctuary, a place where my truth cuts through the noise, where your burdens are lifted, and where you are reminded again and again of your worth, your purpose, and my unchanging love for you. Subscribe, revisit, and share these messages with others who need hope. Each time you return, I will meet you afresh, with new encouragement, fresh wisdom, and the peace your soul is searching for. Bring your questions, bring your pain, bring your prayers and your praise. Every video, every message is another step into the fullness of life I've prepared for you. Don't walk alone. Make this channel part of your journey back to light, wholeness, and destiny. I am waiting for you here. Every time you return, I am ready to speak, to heal, and to lead you forward. You are never forgotten. You are always loved, and you are always welcome here. Amen.